Hello everyone. We completed fourth unit successfully. Now we are going to fifth unit, that is memory system. Memory system. The topics in memory system are basic memory concepts, memory system consideration, read-only memory, that is ROM, PROM, programmable read-only memory. Next, EPROM, electrically programmable read-only memory. EEPROM, electrically erasable programmable read-only memory. Flash memory, cache memories, mapping functions. Next, interleaving, secondary storage, magnetic hard disks, optical disks. These are the topics which we are going to cover in the memory system, fifth unit. Right? First one, basic memory concepts. Basic memory concepts. A memory unit is the collection of storage units or devices together. The memory unit stores the binary information in the form of bits. Memory or storage is classified into two categories. First one, volatile memory, non-volatile memory. Simply, a memory is capable of storing information for further use or future use. Right? It is a collection of storage units, and we have to collect the information or stores the information in the memory in the form of bits. Whatever the data which you sent or the data is represented in the form of bits only. Okay, here we have two types of memories, volatile memory and non-volatile memory. Hope you understand or know the difference of volatile and non-volatile. I mean, volatile memory means this loses its data when power is switched off. Whenever the power is turned on and off, whenever the power is turned off once, the data is lost. That memory is called volatile memory. Non-volatile means opposite. It is nothing but a permanent storage memory or permanent storage area. This is a permanent storage and does not lose any data when power is switched off. So that is the difference between volatile and non-volatile. Once again, volatile memory means whenever the power is turned on and off, the content we lost the content. But when comes to non-volatile memory, it is nothing but permanent memory. There is no way to erase the data or lose the data whenever the power is turned on and off. Next, memory access methods. See, first one, random access. And how can we access the memories? We can access the memories in the following ways: random access, sequential access, and direct access. Okay, the memory access methods means we have a memory which is capable of placing the data or storing the data. So after completion of storing the data, there is a need of accessing the data from memory. So what are the methods which we use for accessing data or content in the memory. We have the following types. First one is random access. Random access. Main memories are random access memories in which each memory location has a unique address. Here, all accesses which are used for accessing main memory is random because we have to use unique memory location. Unique means different means for each and every location we have a different address, so we have to access randomly. Location has a unique address. Using this unique address, any memory location can be reached in the same amount of time in any order. Okay, so by using those unique addresses, we have to reach or access any memory location with a same amount of time or same speed in any order. That's about means random means simply whatever you want to access the data from any location, we have to access it. There is no need to search follow any sequential order or something else. So if you want to access the data from some location, we have to give the address of that location, then we can access the content from that address. Next, sequential access. Sequential access means the name itself says you sequential access. You have to access the content in the memory in a sequential fashion, one by one. This method allows memory access in a sequence or in order. If you want to access the memory location of 10th, you need to access 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Then only we can go to 10. We cannot access the 10th memory location directly. So that is about sequential access, right? One more time, sequential access means you have to follow some order for accessing the memories locations, right? Next, direct access. In this mode, information is stored in tracks. Hope you know tracks, sectors, right? Tracks and sectors. Here, in this mode, the information is stored in tracks. With each track having a separate head, separate read or write head, right? We have a read or write head on hard disk. So the information here is stored in the in tracks. So we have to use a head. It is just like a if you observe once a hard disk, it is just like a head on disk, and whenever the disk is rotated, the head is rotated, and based on the rotation, then the information is accessed. So that's about direct access. Next, how connection is established from memory to processor. Connection of memory to the processor. See, processor and memory must be connected because everything should be processing in a processor. If you want to need anything to process, there is a need to establish the connection, or connection establishment is necessary for memory. So how the connection is established between memory and the processor. You observe here, connection of the memory to the processor is look like this. Here memory which contains up to 2 to the power of n addressable location and word length up to n bits. Here processor which contains two registers MAR and MDR, that is memory address register and memory data register. See, those two are connected with a bus, address bus and data bus, and some control lines are also there for connecting these two. Those are read or write and MFC, etc. See, MAR, data transfer between the memory and the processor takes place through the use of two processor registers. Here, transfer of data between these two, memory and processor, are done through these two registers. Those are called MAR, memory address register, and memory data register. See, if MAR is k bits long and MDR is n bits long, then the memory unit may contain up to 2 to the power of k addressable locations. Next, during a memory cycle, n bits of data are transferred between the memory and the processor. See, these two are the registers which are used to communicate between processor and memory, and that is memory address register and memory data register. If you observe, MAR is a one way and MDR is bidirectional, and control lines are also bidirectional. This transfer takes place over a processor bus which has k lines, k address lines and n data lines. The bus also includes control lines. On the bottom of this diagram we have control lines. Observe here, that is read or write and memory functions completed, MFC, memory functions completed, for coordinating data transfer, for transferring the data between these two. Coordinating means coordinating the functions of memory transfer. We have to use this memory function completed, MFC, and other control lines may be added to indicate the number of bytes to transfer. Okay, see, this is about connection establishment between memory and processor. Okay, here we have two registers, MAR, MDR, memory address register and memory buffer register. Then comes to memory hierarchy. The memory hierarchy is just like this. First one, magnetic tapes, magnetic disks, IO processor, main memory, CPU, right, cache memory. See, you just observe the connection establishments. IO processor is input-output processor is connected to magnetic tapes, magnetic disks, main memory. CPU, central processing unit, is connected to main memory as well as cache memory. Okay, see, the comparison in the memory hierarchy, this is hierarchy. See, level 0, level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4, level 5. Here magnetic tapes, in olden days we have to use magnetic tapes, input output processor, magnetic disks. Then after it comes disks, main memory. Hope you know about main memory, about the CPU also, and the cache memory. Most of them knows cache memory. See, you observe the diagram here. Cache memory is always very nearby the CPU. So we call it as fastest memory. Cache memory is called fastest memory because the things which are frequently used by the CPU are placed at cache memory. It is smallest memory, but it gives fast because it is nearby CPU. See hierarchy. First, optical discs are magnetic tips from bottom to top. Increases in the capacity and access time. See, increases in the cost per bit. See, first optical discs and magnetic discs. Those are first generation. Olden days we have to use optical disc and magnetic tapes. Then magnetic discs. Then after we go for disk cache. Then after we go for main memory. Then cache memory. Then registers in CPU. So the very fastest memory is register. Register is very fastest memory, and which is possible to place very less amount of data than cache memory and main memory, then disk cache, magnetic disk, optical disk or magnetic tapes. Whenever we go from bottom to top, the cost is increased and the capacity of the storage is decreased. So we see increased in the capacity and access time. Here increased cost per bit. Okay, whenever the cost is increased, automatically the access time is increased, the cost is also increased.